We're all sadly aware at this point with the implications of the COVID-19 on us in terms of restricting the activities we can do here at school. One of which, of course, was our annual 5k run or walk. We call that our Ross Cullum Kill. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do this last year and can't do it again this year. So rather than lose the tradition altogether, we look to see could we re-envisage it in a different way and perhaps maybe link it to a charity or an aspect of life that pertains to us here in St. Columkille's. Cystic fibrosis is a condition that perhaps some of us are not altogether aware of so much. We have had 2 pupils in our school who would have lived with the condition of cystic fibrosis. Aisling, sadly, who passed away, and Daniel, who I'm delighted to say will be speaking to you now in a little while, and perhaps we could raise an awareness around this condition of cystic fibrosis. Aisling's mum too will speak to us and tell us how it would have impacted on her and her life, and how we can help and how we can contribute both in terms of our awareness of the condition and perhaps maybe make a contribution to the charity of cystic fibrosis. And so we looked at perhaps doing not a 5k but a 6.5k. Cystic fibrosis was known as 65 roses by a child who couldn't pronounce cystic fibrosis. It is a bit of a mouthful, and so with 65 roses, I suppose we have 6.5k. It's almost in the same terminology level, and that's where that comes from. And so we're looking to do that during PE lessons over the next 2 weeks, and perhaps maybe walk or jog or power walk, whatever we want to do. Here in the school grounds, class by class, and we'd encourage the staff to get involved as well. Maybe they could do it over a couple of lunch times, and indeed if parents wanted to walk a 6.5k and have their watches or Fitbits or whatever to do that, we'd be delighted to get that done, and perhaps maybe a donation would be welcome also. And whatever we make in terms of raising funds, we will pass on to the Cystic Fibrosis charity, and hopefully that will help both raise our awareness to the condition and also help those who live with this condition and perhaps may be able to improve their lives somewhat. I want to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Kelly for the initiative in putting all this together, and indeed for the PE team and those who will be helping out over the course of the 2 weeks with the walks and so on, and wish everybody well in it. And to thank also Daniel and Aisling's mum for their pieces coming up now, which will hopefully raise further awareness with yourselves in relation to this. Gura míle maith.
So what exactly is cystic fibrosis?
So cystic fibrosis it's an inherited disease that you get, genetic disease that you get from your parents. So it affects your lungs, digestive system, affects your liver, kidneys, pancreas. So it kind of would build up mucus in kind of a lot of those organs and stuff, so especially the lungs. So if you're to get an infection or something like that, or yourself, or if you had a cold or a virus thing or something, you guys could shift that, no problem. But for ourselves, it takes a lot more effort, and it might require hospitalisation or something like that. So that's kind of what CF is in terms of someone who actually didn't know anything about it. You have to take tablets every day. We have to take tablets to digest our food every day, things like that. So that's kind of what CF is really in a nutshell.
That's handy because I had a friend when I was younger at CF. Yeah. I didn't really understand what it was. So it's good to know a bit more about it.
So like you wouldn't really know about it unless you knew someone with it, but obviously the awareness is getting a bit better now and everything like that, which is great, and it seems to be more like it's in the news a bit more, it's on Twitter more, it's on Facebook more, and all these things, so which is great. But the main thing though with CF is like you wouldn't really know if someone had it unless they kind of told you, unless they were quite unwell. So for myself, for example, I wouldn't really be going shouting from the rooftop that I have it, but because it doesn't, if I'm that person, that will let it define me, and I'm not that guy. So you just be yourself, and so that's the thing with CF. You wouldn't really know what CF is because people go, "Oh, you look so well." I'm like, "Well, thanks," So that's the way it kind of works,
And when did you know you had CF?
So I was diagnosed when I was 6 weeks old, and I kind of suppose my parents just kind of started giving me tablets when I was young, or whatever it was, or the routines of it. So nothing really kind of changed in terms of that. It just kind of, this is life. And I suppose when I was 4 or 5, they kind of told me what it was, but it's like, you know, over my head, like, you know, like, it's nothing. Like, you're 4 or 5, you don't even know what it means. Like, you don't know what's going on, you know. So like that. So like, it wasn't really a big shock or anything, and especially because I wasn't really that sick or anything when I was a child. So it was kind of, I just had to take tablets and do whatever, you know. So it wasn't really any different to, say, my sister or anything like that, you know what I mean. It was just, you know, I felt as normal as anyone, you know what I mean, which is good, I suppose, you know.
So like, what kind of impact did it have on you when you were like small?
Not much, like, in terms of that, but like, as soon as I got older, like, into my kind of more teenage years and stuff, like, I missed a bit more school. I had a few operations and surgeries and stuff, and like, what I've had as well, for more infections and stuff in the hospital and all that. So missing school was kind of the tough thing, and I'm not playing for Knockline United and stuff like that. So like, obviously I get a bit more tired running and stuff. So that was tough, or PE or something. It would always be grand, but you know, you always feel a bit tired today, or you know. But like, I didn't really let it stop me. Like, I never not went for PE, or never not shut up for a match. I always ran as much as I could, and you know, until I collapsed or whatever, you know. So nothing would change in terms of that, you know what I mean. So yeah, like, I got a bit older, then I kind of realised the dangers of CF, and I kind of realised what CF was. But again, I kind of always just put it in the back of my mind that, oh, I'm well now, so I'll just presume this is it, like, you know what I mean. So don't have those negative kind of thoughts, you know.
And how did it affect you when like you were a teenager? Like, how did it affect your school life?
Well, I missed a lot of school time, so just surgeries and in a hospital and stuff like that. But I can do my treatments at home, so I learned how to do them when I was like, I just saw the nurses do it, some doctors do it so many times, I knew how to do it since I was about 10. So I can do that at home myself, so which is good. So, but sometimes they do bring you to hospital still, but you still got the option sometimes to go home and do your treatment. So it's 3 or 4 times a day. That's if you're sick and you have an infection or something like that, you know. But yeah, like, in terms of missing school, it was tough because, you know, you've leaving cert or whatever, like, especially you're doing French or something, and you come back and you're like, what's going on? Like, you know, you're so far behind, and you're like, So like, that stuff like that was hard, but like, it didn't really, you know, I'm sure they're all listening to school, but I didn't really do much homework or studies, so I just kind of plowed through it, you know what I mean. So I didn't really, if I fell behind on my work, I didn't really care, to be honest, because there's bigger things in life, you know. So.
And were you able to get involved in sports?
Yeah, well, played for Knockline. Played for them for years, so that was great. Again, sometimes you're doing fitness work or something like that, it was tough. But like, it kind of just went as hard as I could, and I didn't want to be any different to any of the guys, or I never want special treatment of anyone. I just want to be the same as everyone, because that's what you are. There's no difference. In all aspects of life, there's no point in changing, or you need to be treating this person differently. That's wrong, because of an illness or physical or mental disability. You shouldn't be treated any different unless it's needs must. You know, you should be treated the exact same as everyone else, you know.
And I heard you played the trumpet. Was that difficult?
Yeah, it was good. It was good for breathing, I suppose, you know. I never really found it difficult, again, because I started at such a young age. But yeah, I played that for over like 15 years or something. So that was, you'd imagine it was probably good for the lung function and blowing and breathing and all that, you know. So yeah, so again, just another thing, just tick off the list, you know. So.
And did you have physiotherapy every day?
Yeah, so when I was younger, like, you'd have to get physio, like, I mean, the clapping of your chest and stuff to try and shift mucus and stuff like that. So like, my mum would have to do that in the mornings and in the evenings and stuff like that. So be doing that before school and everything. It was just, you know what I mean, just a bit of a disaster, like, getting up doing this, you know. So but then obviously when you get older, then, you know, you kind of do it more yourself, and breathing techniques, and so things have evolved so much and everything like that, you know what I mean. So
you get sick, what happens?
Well, you could get sick. There's a lot of things you could get sick, like, but generally infection, your lung function will go down a little bit. So the lung will be kind of the most important thing. So if that goes down, or if you're not feeling great yourself, or if you've got stuff you can't shift, or you know, you're just not as good as you could be, you might go in and they might let you to the hospital and give you some intravenous treatment, so IV treatment. So it'd be like getting antibiotics and pumping it straight into your system, sort of thing, you know. So I actually have a port. It's a thing they can put it into your chest. So it's a little kind of metal thing I have in my chest, but I didn't even know I had it, like, you know. So they can attach to that, and then you're in hospital for 2-3 weeks. Regular physiotherapy with the physios. There's treadmills in the room, like I'm in St Vincent's Hospital, and they're brilliant in there. Like, they're fantastic, and the rooms, the facilities are really great as well. So you've got your own privacy, you've got your own toilet, you've got your own room, you've got your own TV. So like, you know, if you want to get away from people at home, it's good to go in, you know. So, you know, so it's grand, like, but like, it is just the way it is. Like, you know, you always know you're going to get the best care possible. Obviously, you don't want to be in there, but like for myself, if I ever have to go in, I just go and do it and get in as quick as I can, get out as quick as I can, you know, before I let out and kind of get too bad. That'd be like, okay, that was stupid. I should have rung up the doctor, or I should have, you know, rung them up, whatever. But that's kind of what you'd be getting done if you were going to hospital. But hopefully it doesn't happen too much, and I've only been in once in the last 18 months, 2 years, so it's not been too bad, you know.
And like, what's changing the way that CF is treated now compared to a few years ago?
Well, the awareness and everything is much more big. New tablets, new drugs coming out, so there's Kaftrio is a new drug that's come out now. So the Orkambi was the original one that came out about 5 years ago. There was big protests in town, I don't know, you guys might have seen it, it's protests in town about to get this drug approved. But this one is a carry-on from that one, and it's 3 times as strong. And the difference when I'm on this now is amazing. Like, it's like I'm doing 10k runs some days now, and just not tired at all. I barely really cough anymore. You know, it's amazing. Like, you know, I'm really flying. My lung function's gone up over 10%. For everybody, it's across board. Everyone is on this. I've got CF diabetes. It's not as bad as it was. I'm taking less tablets than I need to now. It's quite amazing, you know. So, in terms of the technology and the medicines, that's kind of the big breakthrough, and there's more stuff coming in the pipeline as well too. So, in terms of, you know, the way things are now, there's a lot more science that now people are going to expect to be living longer, and that, you know, they're saying, oh, you need to think ahead for 20, 30 years rather than just the next 5 or something. Do you know what I mean? So it's really encouraging. It's quite a good time, you know, not a good time to have CF, but it's a lot more brighter, and it's a lot more positive, you know, in terms of longevity and everything like that, you know. So.
And does CF stop you from like doing anything you want to do?
No. Obviously, running around, or the lads playing football before COVID and all that, or whatever, I found it a bit difficult. But especially under the new drug now, I don't see anyone wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to keep up with anyone now. Where I could definitely keep up anyway. You know, wouldn't be setting record times, but you know, like, I feel as normal as anyone now, you know.
And going back to the topic of COVID, how did COVID affect you?
It's quite scary at the start in terms of that, because there was it was the way, like, no one knew what was happening. You just see death tolls, you see viruses, like, Jesus, like, this is scary. And because I had a virus the year before, and my lung function went down a bit, I had a bit of a flu and stuff, and I was like, I don't want to be back there again, and you know what I mean. So it's kind of quite scary, you know. So, but like, kind of just cocooned for a year. I haven't really gone anywhere, I haven't really done anything. Just kind of stayed to myself, really, to be honest. I had to go home from work as well, which was tough. So I had to say I can't work. I'm not coming to work because I'm not sitting in an office with air conditioning. So they were very understanding and very, very thoughtful as well for me. So I'm working from home now, which is great. So in terms of that, with COVID, it's been tough, but I kind of made it a positive thing as well, that I was sitting at home doing nothing. A lot of people who were high risk sat at home, but I actually went out for a run every day. So that's how I started my running, kind of from lockdown 1, and then from on the new drug, I'm twice as good as I started, you know. So so that's why that would be as well. So like, I kind of used it as a bit of a positive to kind of just relax, rest, you know, not worry about things. You know, it's like, look, if things happen, they happen. But the whole house was in lockdown, so you know, I thank everyone who's been living with me the last 12 months that, you know, they've made sacrifices as well. But I suppose that it's one of those things where you have to, you know, look at the situation, you know, and, you know, take as much as you can out of it. So the running is one positive for me, but other than that, hasn't been great, because I've been able to, like, I miss the pub, I miss going to my mates, I miss going to my sisters, you know, doing the usual stuff you just do. Like, I'll just call around and play Pro Evo and a few cans, and you can't even do that. You know, it's just little things like that where you kind of really miss out, but you know, hopefully we'll be over it soon, you know.
And your teachers always say you were very positive. How do you stay so positive?
You know, we're a choice, really. Just got to do it. You just got to, if you're told to, you've got something and you got to do it, you just got to do it. And you know, if you're not positive towards anything in life, you know, there's no point going on with it. Like, we all have troubles, we all have issues. My issues are no bigger than anyone else, and you know, I'd be wrong if I was making it all about me or how sick I am or whatever. Like, I'm doing quite well. There's a lot of people worse off than me, so you just gotta handle it and just gotta do what you can, you know.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much.
Hi, I'm Maria Dunn, and my daughter Ashlyn, a former St Columkille's pupil, had cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is a genetic condition which affects the lungs and the digestive system. But CF never stopped Ashlyn from doing what she loved, and she dealt with her illness in a very positive way. She was lucky to have support from her family, friends, school and health staff whilst dealing with her illness. The CF Association supported Ashlyn and our family in making living with CF a little easier. And the CF Association is active in researching new interventions that will help people with CF to have a better quality of life. And I was delighted to hear that the students of St Columkille's are participating and raising money for the CF Association this year. Sadly, Ashlyn lost her fight on the 25th of April 2016, aged 22. Ashlyn's motto was, she believed she could, and so she did. In Ashlyn's memory, we support CF Ireland, and we wish to thank all of you for supporting the CF Association and people living with CF. Thank you so much.